Hi guys, in this video we will write a Python class which will extract data from the Binance exchange. So let's write the functionality. First we will create some files using the command lines. Now let's write the API key to this file. We need this work to work with our Binance account. You can get this key in your personal account on the Binance website. To edit the file I use the nano command. You will see the window where you will need to put this key. Now let's write some Python code. We will import libraries with which we will work. To obtain keys, we will write the name of the file where our keys are stored. This is a secret file, and you mustn't show it to anyone or upload it to the GitHub. We will create several methods to get data for one cryptocurrency or the required list of cryptocurrencies. We will combine this data using the pandas library. In the future we will use this library for analyzing cryptocurrencies and searching for statistical patterns. Also we will use machine learning and reinforcement learning. Now we can work with Binance. Let's write a simple program with which we'll extract the Bitcoin data. We will be fetching data from the last 5 days. Therefore we need to determine the data from which our dataset will begin. This date must be in string format. For us to carry out calculation with dates, we import the time delta. Thus we can minus or add time intervals for the base time. Now let's run this code and see what data we get from the Binance server. We receive data in the form of a list type, which has a certain length. We get data in the list type. We need to convert this format to pandas data frame. We indicate that the index will be the time column. We will also sort these indexes in ascending order. Now that we have the basic functionality, we can write a class that we will reuse in the future. I would like to use interactive notebook in VS Code to debug code and analyze what data type we have and how we could improve this code. So, in these cases, I print some data to understand what structure do we have, and also I run code to plot Bitcoin price. I'm trying to understand how I can improve this code. For example, in get historical lines method we have some feature to get data for some intervals, and we need to understand how we could replace this data using our target data. So let's create a global variable like tickers, and it would be Bitcoin, for example, and we replace this one in this method. Next, we need to take data for some time series. We have some object like a client and key interval 1 hours, and we need to analyze what is method. Let's analyze what is type. Let's use interactive notebook, and this is string type and string like 1 hours. Okay, so next we're looking on the code what we have inside this library, and we see that is some type of string to get data, and we have some understanding how we could improve it. So let's create class. This class would be some initialization, and we also using some type in Python to make less bug in our code. For example, let's create some time frames, and these time frames would be list with some type of these time frames. We have 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, and let's rewrite this code, and it would be some type of list which consists this variable, and we could use this list to get data from the Binance server. So we have data for minutes, hours, days. Good practice is analyze code from library, what we use. Also, we could get data for daily, weekly, and months. So we created these variables with self. It means we could get data using self in any place in this class. So let's create private method to download data. This method take arguments like days. It would be integer. For default it would be 10 days. Tickers it would be string. Default would be Bitcoin USDT. Time series would be also string, and default would be 1 hours. And in this method we return pandas data frame. So we understand that we have private method download data with some arguments, and we should return pandas data frame. We know how this code working, and we need to create this method using this code to which we write before. In general, when we writing some code, we need to take some checking on bug, on error, on some else. For example, we take that this taking argument would consist in a time frame list. If this argument is not consistent in time frames, we return raise value error that we couldn't return this pandas data frame from Binance server. So let's write support time frames like list of time frames. So we need to copy paste this code into download data method. Let's do it. Let's create method get start days, because we need to calculate time delta, and we're doing this way because we need to create some architecture of code to understand and to make this code better. In this method we calculate time deltas. It would be the first day when we would from which we could download data from Binance server. We should return data in string format. Let's do it. So let's create a variable from day, and we could call private method get start day, and we indicate days for days. It means we calculate some time deltas. Let's copy paste this line of code. and we replace start on from day, and we also replace this argument on TS, it means time series. Also we replace tickers. So we do adapting this code for using it in the future. When we have data in list format, when we download data from Binance server, we need to convert this data to pandas data frame. Let's do it method. When we convert this data to pandas data frame, it would be method private method convert to data frame. When we take key lines, it would be list format, and we should return a pandas data frame. And we should import a type and list from standard library in Python. We using pass when we don't know how this code would looking, but we need some returns. It will be pass. It means we nothing returns. It's some temporary solution. Okay, now we copy paste another part of code when we convert data from list to pandas data frame, and let's adapt this code for class. And we return this data like pandas data frame. I would like to use interactive notebook in VS Code to debug code and analyze what data type we have and how we could improve this code. So in these cases I print some data to understand what structure do we have, and also I run code to plot Bitcoin price. Let's show what data consists in our key lines. We use a comprehensive list and print all this data. So interactive notebook in Python very convenient to check type of data, what data consists. In this case, we know that we have a list of data, and we use private method convert to pandas data frame what we create. Also we create additional column like ticker when we will store ticker name, because we have plan to download multiply of data from Binance server, for example for Ethereum or Bitcoin. It is convenient to analyze this data in the future. For example, we could compare trading strategy between Bitcoin and Ethereum, or analyze some events. Now we create method of class getData, and we return pandas data frame on this method, and in this method we use private method. Also we create additional method like a getData. It means we download multiply of tickers from Binance server, and we also convert this data to pandas data frame. We take arguments like days and integer format, and argument tickers in string format. Also argument time series in string format also. Similar argument we have in method getDatas, but we adapt tickers into list because we would like to take ticker of list. For example, we have tickers like Bitcoin, Ethereum, or XRP, and we consist this data into list and take this argument into getDatas. In getData method we return pandas data frame where we call downloadData method. In getDatas method we return comprehensive list of this method downloadData. It means we download several datas like tickers, Ethereum or Bitcoin. It would be list format, and we need next to convert this format into pandas data frame. Pay attention that downloadData return pandas data frame, and when we call downloadData we also return pandas data frame. To concat several pandas data frame we use concat method. So it seems we created our class, and let's run this code in interactive notebook, and let's check what happens if we call our methods. We call our class dataset and we call method, for example getData. We input arguments. It would be ticker, Bitcoin USDT, days, for example 10, and time series 1 hour. Okay, we have an error, and you see we have unsupported format of time frames. You could check this type of format and change 1 hour. And you look, we downloaded data from Binance server in pandas data frame. Let's check len of pandas data frame, and we have 259 len. Let's download data for Ethereum, for example. Let's print Ethereum head, and we got data from Ethereum. Let's test download data for another time frames like for day. It's working. We download the data for Bitcoin USDT for daily. Let's plot this data using method plot. It looks fine, it's working. Let's download data for several tickers like Bitcoin USDT and Ethereum USDT. Let's test it. Okay, we have wrong argument. We need to change argument on tickers. Tickers take list type of format. Okay, this data is downloaded. Let's print it. Okay, we have Bitcoin USDT and Ethereum USDT. It's working. Let's analyze. For example, we group by this data by symbol and do some calculation to analyze. For example, let's returns log return for each symbol. We also use a group by. We use apply function inside consist lambda function and do some simple calculation. Let's print what consists our data frames, and you see we created new columns log return. Let's plot log returns for each symbol. So we created dataset class when we could download the data from tickers from Binance server, and we could reuse this class in the future to analyze cryptocurrency and make some strategy using machine learning or reinforced learning. Thank you for watching this video.